Welcome back to Final Fantasy XVI. We're back at the hideout here, getting quests, finding out information.
I heard the Emperor was impaled on his own son's spear.
Never. Day on the boat. Kinslayer.
We're all gonna die! You hear me? The Akashic are coming and they won't stop until they've slaughtered every single one of us!
How do you suppose they'll manage that? You ever seen one of the blue bastards swim?
I was thinking I might pen a novel of my own to tell the story of the hideaway. I change all the names, of course. Well, except for mine, that is.
All this fuss over a few dark clouds. You'd think the people here had never seen a storm before.
Well, that's it then. I'm buggered.
Oh, Wayne, isn't that the name of, shit. My mind's drawing a blank here. Cyan's. Wasn't that Cyan's son's name in Final Fantasy VI? I think in the North American SNES version, his name was Owen, but I think his name is actually supposed to be Owain, and I think his name is Owain in all the other translated versions that came after.
Here, Sid. Reckon you might be just the man to help me out of a bit of bother, if you've a mind to.
Let's hear it.
Well, it's about this alembic the chief's got me making. Lovely bit of kit it is. Bung in a solution you want splitting, and it will separate it out, just like that. Problem is, it won't always get rid of all the impurities. And with some of the stuff we need it for, that ain't good enough. Which is why I've been looking for something to filter the liquid we'll be cooking off. And that's where I was hoping you could help me out.
I imagine Ty could get some use out of this alembic too. Distilling medicines and the like. Alright, why not?
Proper job!
So what exactly do you need for this filter?
Nothing but bomb ash'll do, says the chief. Gave me a sample she'd obtained from the university stores. Couldn't believe my eyes. You pour the blackest blight water through it, and it comes out clear as a mountain stream. So, I did a bit of reading about where I might be able to get hold of some. And do you know what I found out? It's only the blimmin' bones of a bomb king. They leave them behind when they die, see?
I take it that's where I come in.
If you wouldn't mind. I saw a billet on the hunt board for one just the other day. Would have gone myself, but, well, fighting dirty great balls of flame ain't exactly my forte. You, on the other hand...
Alright. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you kindly. And a good hunting, eh?
By the way, I think the day I'm recording this, I think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is exactly a week away. So that definitely seems like something I'm gonna have to be a little bit late to the party on, as per usual. But it's all good.
I've tried to find a supplier for this stuff, but it's rare as Chocobo's teeth. Either someone brings down a Bond King and picks up the ash, or... I don't know. We wait for one to snuff it of old age.
All this fuss over a few dark clouds. You'd think the people here had never seen a storm before.
What happened to the sky? Do you think Sid broke it?
Hush, you two. He did no such thing.
It's just super cloudy. I wouldn't even go as far to say super cloudy. The sun's poking through some of these gaps.
After Drake's head, I was beginning to wonder if you'd lost interest in Sid's grand scheme. But here we are. Another crystal cracked, another nation in disarray. You wear the mantle of outlaw well.
We've received word that the displacement stacks have arrived safely in Canva. The rest is up to Mid.
Alright, who are you thirsting over today?
The girls here can have Otto and Gav and Gareth and Cole and all the rest. My heart beats for another. Now, if only Lady Taya would let me into the infirmary to see him.
Uh-huh. Now it's all about Dion, huh?
It doesn't feel right sitting around waiting for the world to right itself.
Might be Goat has some work. That, or you could join the Curse Breakers.
The girls here can have Otto and Gav.
Clive, did you get my letter?
That's why I'm here.
Shh. Otto might be listening.
Is this better?
A little. Listen, I've some bad news. It turns out the Hideaway may be slightly behind in its payment to certain lenders, and it's maybe my fault. But I swear to the goddess, I thought I had the numbers square. Sadly, that square turned out to be more of a circle. Zero, you might say. I can straighten it out, I swear, but it's going to take some time, and I'm going to need help keeping it from Otto.
Bit late for that, I'd say.
There you are! What a surprise!
So let me get this straight. You forget to pay our lenders what they're due, and instead of coming straight to me, you get Clive to come to you. And I hope he'll dig you out of the hole you've dug for yourself. Clive, the man in charge of the place you've been cheerfully trying to bankrupt. And you thought this was a cunning plan. Why? Well, who needs paying?
Oh, just Martha. And the dame. And, well, Lady Karen. But only 500 talents.
We owe 3 of our most trusted friends 5 million gil.
Each. 5 million each. They lent us the bulk of the money we used to rebuild the hideaway, you see, and, well, I must have made some sort of oversight.
Those ledgers were my responsibility, and it was my decision to entrust them to you. This is my fault.
Do we have that much to hand? I can always ask my uncle.
No, we don't. And no, you won't. We've lightened Lord Rosfield's purse enough. After the king's ransom we had off him, he deserves better than to see our begging bowl. Besides, we'll need to learn to stand on our own if we're gonna make this work.
All right. But that doesn't mean you have to shoulder the burden yourself. Is there anything I can do to help?
There might be. How'd you fancy taking these to Martha and the dame?
Rocks.
Rocks, he says. Worth 1,000 talents apiece, these are.
A little something Sid and I set aside for when times got lean. And I reckon 15 million in overdue debt probably qualifies. I just hope our associates' eyes are a bit more discerning than yours.
I'm sure there will be.
Should be me making the rounds, really. But you know how it is with this place. Orders to bark, arses to wipe and all that.
I know. Which is why I don't mind going in your place.
Go. Do you know why I only gave Master Clive here 2 star rubies?
Because you'd rather Lady Karen killed me.
Because I'd rather Lady Karen killed you. Yes.
Well, I suppose this is goodbye then.
Don't worry. I'm sure Karen will understand.
Really? Do you think so?
No, I don't.
Fancy a look at the list, do you? I'm sorry to drag you into this, Master Clive. It's just I couldn't think who else to ask, and you're always so willing to help everyone. I don't mean to be gloomy.
But the whole world's gone to shit. Reports used to be about troop movements and chances to set bears free. Now it's all aether floods, Akashic attacks, and plagues of bloody bandits. The Cursebreakers and all our other allies are doing what they can to keep their heads above water, but
They need all the help they can get.
they're counting on you, Clive. We all are.
Anything catch your eye? Always something in there.
How may I help you today, Clive? It's not true.
Is it, Clive? The world can't be ending, can it? We were struggling before the skies went dark, but now? I can't imagine how we will bear it all.
We've lost so much already.
When will it be enough? It will end, won't it, Clive?
Is everything we've received and everything promised? All yours. Best of luck out there, Sid.
skies then. Hello, Renaissance. We should call back the scouts. All of them.
Are you on the hunt for a bomb, King Kupo? If so, I have a billet that might interest you.
I can hardly lift my arms. The curse, it's...
You just need some rest. I'll stay here with you. Oh, if you'd like, that is.
The injuries suffered by both your brother and the prince were bad enough. But that wound above Joshua's heart is unlike anything I've ever seen. Were he not a dominant, I fear he would have succumbed to it long ago. Safe here.
There's talk of these skies driving men mad. Most of the hideaways on edge.
Well, it's our job to calm things down. So don't you go spreading ill rumors.
What will it be today?
What is it that you wish to learn?
Am I not your favorite pupil anymore?
Of course.
Well, it says on this he's deceased, so if it says here he's deceased, he must be deceased.
Here you are. Thus ends today's lesson.
Did you see that? Tell me you saw that.
What did y'all see?
Mother, save us.
Might be hard now there's only one.
Then we're all doomed.
There's only one left? Only one Mother Crystal left?
the moon, for that matter.
You expect me to work with the skies like this?
It could be raining garms and goblins for all I care. You get back to that log or I'll have your hide. I'd say we were in for a storm, but the lake seems to think otherwise.
We'll see these letters to the mainland as soon as Obolus deems it safe to sail. As for what awaits me there, well, we'll just have to see, won't we?
I guess I can go to the overworld map, but it's not going to let me go anywhere else. Yeah, just the same if I were to go to the pause menu.
There's barely been a shipment in since the skies started boiling. A few more days without a visit and we'll have to start eating the blankets.
You mean the Iron Kingdom?
Alright, nothing else I can do but talk to the man with the plot.
How fares the realm?
The realm? Oh, she's just fine.
As long as you look past the fact storms out mother crystals and her skies are a roiling cesspit.
And Gav?
He's with your uncle in the Free Cities, helping Mid with her project. Sent an owl their way the moment the winds turned foul. Still waiting on a reply, though.
Do you have any good news?
Well, that depends on your definition of good.
All right, fine. What do you suggest we do?
Oh, no, I'm just the messenger. I leave the scheming to those more suited to the task. Could be that Lady Vivian and Old Tomes have their own thoughts on the current state of things. Could be that they don't. It certainly can't hurt to ask.
I suppose not.
I see that every report that comes my way makes it into the hands of both Lady Vivian and the Norsemen. If anyone could tell you what might be barreling down the mountain towards us, it would be that pair.
How is it that every one of your little excursions presages some inexplicable catastrophe? Not that you are to blame for the Dominion's fate. No one could have predicted the actions of the Crown Prince.
I'm sorry I couldn't save your home.
My countrymen are stronger than you think. A few toppled clock towers won't break their spirits. They'll be back on their feet in no time.
I hope so.
Look at us. Bluer than a pair of bog crabs. Tempting though it may be, sulking will not help us find a solution to this mess.
You believe there's one to be found?
I don't know. But I am certain we're more likely to find it if we first examine the facts.
Beneath these darkened skies, fear and confusion reign over Valisthea. Oh, the lands around the fallen mother crystals had already begun to wilt for want of ether. But not like this. Crystals that filled wells and fueled furnaces, now nothing but pretty shards of rock. And those that hang from the people's necks cast nary a glimmer of light to keep the dark at bay. It is only a matter of time before the common folk convince themselves that the end of days is upon us. Yet I fear a swift end is more than we can hope for. While most of the world thirsts for ether, the remainder drowns in it, spawning Akashic in droves. And amidst the hordes of mindless beasts, with magics as like to fail as function, even the strongest nation would falter. Rosaria and the Iron Kingdom teeter on the brink of collapse, while the tragedy in Twinside has all but paralyzed the Holy Empire. Dalmekia fares little better. Rumor has it the ministers fled the capital after the fall of Drake's Fang, leaving their beloved republic to crumble. Waloed, meanwhile, moves in earnest. The Einherjar has been sighted off Storm. The world, in short, is in chaos. It would seem our civilization was nothing but a castle of sand, to be washed away at the whim of the waves.
A castle of sand.
Not my best flourish, but it seemed fitting. The reports I've received are considerably more blunt in their appraisal. Without the protection of their nations, it will fall to the people to defend themselves against those who would take what is theirs.
Which is only ever going to end one way.
Defending a farmhouse against a band of chocobo thieves is one thing, but pitchforks and palisades will do little to stall an army's advance. Should the King of Waloed deign to invade, there would be none to stop him.
None but us.
to see the sun again.
Is a storm coming, Sid? Will there be thunder?
Let me guess. You're here about the skies.
Is there anything you don't know, Lawsman?
It doesn't take a court astrologer to augur the obvious. As for what has disturbed the heavens, that, I believe, is a question the Fallen might be better placed to answer than I. And on the 6th day did the gods tear the sun from the firmament, visiting darkness upon their prideful sons and daughters. But I dare say you remember your childhood lessons on the sins of Zemeckis only too well.
You think they're connected? That Ultima was one of the gods responsible?
Well, he has certainly exhibited powers that we mortals would associate with the divine.
There is nothing divine about him.
But he wouldn't be the first god of whom that could be said, now would he? Yet for all the fairy tales that tell of the sins, there is almost nothing in the way of actual historical accounts. Had I the Journal of Moss the Chronicler, I may have been able to tell you more, but alas, I fear all remaining copies have been lost to time. You will forgive me, I hope?
Certainly not. Because there is nothing to forgive. Even without this journal, you provided us ample wisdom. And we will always be grateful for it. Perhaps Otto will be more inclined to share his thoughts when he hears what the others had to say.
Clive, we have a problem.
Only one. That would be a first.
It would. Actually, there are three. We had as many owls arrive while you were at the shelves. Martha's got a cashier at her gates, and talk of monsters roaming the hills outside of Northreach has put the wind up Isabel and her lot.
And don't forget Dalimil. Lubor says the village was raided by bandits.
When it rains...
It fucking pours. The curse breakers are spread thin, taking stock of the damage in the Dominion. And even if I could get word to all of them, I doubt they'd get here in time to make any real difference. Which means there's only two people who can.
Jill and I.
Let them know we're on our way.
Okay. There you have it. Conveniently, all the places I have to go for quests. It's where I can go. It's where I need to go for the lore.
The messages from Martha, Isabel, and Lubor weren't long. But what they lacked in detail, they more than made up for in urgency. Our friends need your help.
Clive! Don't be a stranger, eh? Fancy a look at the list, do you? Here you go.
Okay.
Enough. I'm ready when you are, Clive.
Back again?
It is not merely the men and women of Valisthea who have been affected by the imbalance in the aether. These blackened skies have cast a pall over all the creatures of the realm.
And how could it not?
They are living beings, just as we are. Alas, their instinct drives them to flee from that which cannot be escaped, ushering them only to madness and death.
But are we any better?
We consider ourselves above such base instincts. And yet fear and bewilderment drive us to make war on our fellow man, to turn our ire at our own suffering upon those who suffer just as keenly as we do. If that is what it means to be human, Clive, I wonder if we are even worth saving at all.
I cannot claim.
To have been shocked to learn of Twinside's destruction. Indeed, I have long known that such a fate was all but guaranteed. A piece of parchment was all that ever stood between the Dominion and chaos, and those who signed the treaty were only going to abide by it for as long as it suited them. Emperor Silvestre's invasion saw it torn into shreds at last, and as the pieces scattered to the winds, long festering enmities came to the force once more.
Such are the wages
of greed and distrust. If those in power pay heed to their whispers, they are like to grow into a mighty storm, one which the walls of even the stoutest citadel might not withstand.
ironic, then.
That it should be Prince Dion, the boldest, most trustworthy player in this ignoble game, who should deal the finishing blow.
Should I learn aught else, you will be the first to know. Clive, allow me to educate you.
Well, I haven't rescued them yet.
One must understand one's place in the world. Thus ends today's lesson.
Well, let's get to it. Let's just go here first, then go around, make our way to here, and then here. As I've said before, I don't know whether to take me warping to places as canon or not. I don't necessarily like the idea that we're always traveling on foot to place, because it would take fucking forever to go to all these places and then come back to the hideout. Maybe the point is to believe what you want to believe. But it does seem kind of too out there for me that we just use these crystals to warp from place to place. I mean, can't anybody do that? And maybe everybody does do that, but...
Poor bastard. Couldn't run because of the weight of his load. Still, better a branded than one of us.
Fucking thieving bastards!
If you're wondering why Dalamil's in such a sorry state, you can blame the bandits. Them and the mercenaries who are guarding the gates. Though I can hardly fault them for running. Fighting would have meant death. Did for more than a few.
My shop. Why would anyone do such a thing?
If I had my pickaxe, I would have...
Don't get yourself worked up. You need rest.
What are we to do? We could fight, but what would it cost us?
All my finest pieces. All that hard work. Gone.
What's that Brandon doing all on his own? He lost his master.
Here you are. I thought I told you to go and hide in the inn.
I tried, but they were everywhere. I was so scared.
Are you looking for something in particular? Thank you for your custom.
Damn it all! Why did Kupka have to go and get himself killed? He was the only thing standing between us and this.
Fuck! How the hell did they find it? No one knew where I was keeping that gill.
They're not done with us yet. They'll be back for more.
What then? Should we leave?
But where would we go?
Mummy, I'm scared. What if the bad men come back?
It's all right. We're all right now.
Oh, I'm ruined.
Fucking thieving bastards.
Sid! Your new companion appears much more formidable than your uncle. Should I be worried?
You haven't been introduced.
Jill, Clive has told me much about you.
All lies, I'm sure.
Your Stolas said that Dalamil has a bandit problem.
Indeed. Although, you're a little late. They left with our food and guild days ago.
Any idea where they went?
The desert's a big place. Your guess is as good as mine. But the fact is, I have more immediate concerns.
What did you say to me? What did you say?
Ah, as if by magic. Let's just say we've yet to reach a consensus about how to solve Dalamil's little problem. And at this rate, it won't be the actions of the bandits which prove to be our undoing. It will be our own. Now, I've tried reasoning with the dissenting parties, but even the Desert Hare has limits.
Perhaps we could talk to them.
What makes you think they'll listen to us?
What makes you think they won't?
She makes a fair point, Sid. And you won't have wasted much of your precious time if you fail. They're just across the courtyard.
Suppose we just follow the shouting.
They're
both as stubborn as the lover's pox and every bit as irritating. The more one insists on their proposed plan of action, the more the other rails against it. Oh, they've successfully split the town asunder just when we should be standing as one.
You wouldn't talk like that if it had been your men whose throats were slit. Blood for blood, it's the only way. We hire mercenaries and have them mount the bandits' heads on our walls as a lesson to the rest.
And what happens when those mercenaries are slaughtered like your men? Are you going to hire more? We're better off using that coin to buy food and supplies. If we hire mercenaries, the only thing we're buying is the bandits' ire. And you cannot fill empty bellies with that. Do you hear me?
But what happens when they come back? Maybe it'll be your throat that's slit.
That's enough. Both of you. Any more of this and I'll throw you out myself. Come back when you're ready to talk like adults.
Victor. What's he doing here?
Who?
Haven't we had enough fighting?
I know I bloody well have. People take notice of wealthy men. Shouldn't be too hard to track down Karen's collector.
Welcome. If you're hoping for a bed, I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. One of our wealthy patrons has purchased the use of every room, hoping to keep out the riffraff, as he puts it.
Sid and Lady Jill. What brings you here?
I was about to ask you the same thing.
Costness is in chaos, and the markets have all but ceased to operate. The Briar's Kiss here in Dalamil is the only place I can reliably obtain supplies. I was here to do just that when Master Lubor told me of his troubles. He thought I might be able to talk some sense into these fools. But if you're here, I suppose his patience must be waning.
Who are those people?
Those were the thorns in Lubor's side. And the reason this place might be headed the same way as Costner's. It's these accursed skies. The darkness is enough to drive a man to madness. Or an entire city, for that matter.
We're still working on the skies. But in the meantime, perhaps we can find a solution to Dalamil's problems.
I hope so. For all our sakes.
Haven't we had enough fighting?
I know I bloody well have.
My reputation will be ruined! Ruined!
Calm yourself, Lord Ignac, I beg of you, before you do yourself a mischief.
Pardon the intrusion, but...
Out! Get out! I paid for these rooms so I wouldn't be disturbed. Leave me be!
Please, allow me to apologize. His lordship is going through a difficult time, and he's never been fond of guests arriving unannounced.
Radim! Get rid of the filthy oaf this instant!
Very good, Lord Ignac. Would you mind stepping outside for a moment?
I'm sorry if I've caused you any trouble.
That? Oh, no. That's just how his lordship is. Though the morning's events have left him somewhat fractious. He has been dispossessed of his luggage, you see. The thieves also made away with a considerable amount of coin. Coin the innkeeper will soon be keen to collect.
I don't suppose a certain blade was among the stolen items. A single-edged sword. It was purchased from a merchant friend of mine.
Ah, you know Lady Karen? Yes, I'm afraid it was.
Then I'll retrieve Lord Ignac's luggage. But I have one condition.
You have but to state it. You are welcome to anything that is within my power to grant.
I want an audience with Lord Ignac. A few minutes should be enough. Then I'll be on my way.
A condition I would be a fool to refuse. Of course, you shall have your audience.
I don't suppose you saw where the thieves went?
I did not, no. Though some discreet inquiries made on his lordship's behalf mean that I know where you might find them. The bandit's bed. Every ill-gotten coin in Dalimil is said to pass through that disreputable corner of the Valcroy.
And that's where I'm heading.
I shall speak to Lord Ignac in your absence, and arrange for an audience upon your triumphant return.
That will be very kind of you.
Farewell, and best of luck. It's a wonder the Republic tolerates the existence of the bandit's bed. You would have thought a few dozen good men might put an end to the problem. Then again, what commander would want to march his troop into the Valcroy?
I would have been to the bastards myself.
We saw it all from upstairs. The bandits came and started attacking everyone. It was really scary.
So much for the men of the rock. The cowards took to the hills as soon as they saw the mob coming.
Here you are.
Stood
I
Brandon
thought I
doing
told you
over
to go
there?
and hide in the inn.
Lost his
I tried, but they were everywhere. I was so scared.
All my finest pieces. All that
If I had my pickaxe, I would...
So, you see my predicament?
What I saw was a room full of people who were angry and afraid. And with good reason by the sound of it. But if left to smolder, that anger and fear could set the entire town alight.
My thoughts exactly. What to do? Both sides wish to protect their homes and livelihoods, if only they could agree on how. But as long as they are divided, we are vulnerable.
And if there's one thing bandits like, it's an easy target.
What would Sid the Outlaw suggest?
Well, if it were my namesake, he'd let them choose for themselves, and be on hand to pick up the pieces when it all went wrong.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
A recipe for disaster is precisely what it is. But perhaps that realization would be enough to make them question the ingredients.
while it's plain neither Conrad nor Natalie will countenance the other's proposal, it may still be possible to make them doubt their own. Before presenting them with a third option.
And that would be?
To pool our resources and save the city ourselves. Why fight each other?
When all that fear and anger can be directed at the bandits.
It appears we have a plan of action. Victor, pay Conrad a visit. See if you can't convince him of his folly. I'll speak with Natalie.
As you wish.
Your faces are not well known in this town. That may prove useful. Don't worry, Victor and I will do most of the talking. You need only play along.
Play along?
What he means to say is yes.
Picture it, Conrad. Your own city guard. With you as captain.
Me? I don't know about that.
Why more supplies? We might as well scatter seeds near a rat's nest. They're the problem, and only steel will solve it.
Next thing you know, Natalie'd be offering the bandits bed and board.
Hold on! I'll have my branded heal your hurts.
Here she is. The Lady of the Spear herself. Conrad, may I introduce you to Jane, commander of the Red Wings, the oldest mercenary guild in the Free Cities.
A pleasure, my lady.
Final Fantasy IV reference?
Pleasure is all mine.
As I told you, I summoned the commander here from Canberra to inquire about a contract.
Victor says you told him no. That there aren't any men left to hire. Is that true?
True as the crystals cracked. Nobles came and claimed every last one worth his salt. And not just from us Red Wings. You know of the 7 high houses. There must be 2 swords assigned each one. Granted, we have a few boys left. If it's boys you're looking for.
Well, Conrad, are you saying that Dalamil's finest cannot defend this town better than a gaggle of unblooded striplings? That a band of beardless youths could better avenge the deaths of your brave men than you yourselves?
Absolutely not. We'll show those bastards who they're dealing with.
I can't believe that actually worked.
Conrad's not what you called the brightest candle in the crypt. And there's a reason why I had you do the talking and not Sid. Well played, my lady.
Then let us band together and show these brutes that Dalimil is not to be trifled with.
My shop?
Mummy, I'm scared.
I mean, it may still be possible to buy something, and we may yet be allowed to keep it.
Yes, but...
All this after the last sellswords we paid for proved themselves such reliable souls. You'd have us throw good gil after bad.
Never poke a hornet's nest, they say. Conrad's going to get us all killed.
Ah, here he is now. Natalie, allow me to introduce Lord Underhill of Randalar's prestigious League of Merchants.
Lord Underhill. At your service.
Underhill.
I was just telling the good lady of our conversation, my lord, and how you were lamenting the state of the capital's stores.
Lubor says that not only are the granaries almost empty, but that war and the Blight mean this season's harvest won't be enough to fill them for winter.
Indeed, certainly that is the case. The nobles in the capital are buying up the city's stocks of barley and wine, driving the prices higher than most commoners can afford. It is only a matter of time before the peasants revolt.
It is worse than I thought. If what Lord Underhill says is true, I fear we have little hope of supplementing our stores, meager though they regrettably are. And while I applaud your endeavors to dissuade our more bellicose citizens from seeking vengeance, I sense Conrad is not wrong in his assessment of the bandits' likely return. Which means that now, more than ever, we will need to secure what little we still have. Food, weapons, herbs, everything. If our humble town is to endure not only this hardship, but those that are certain to follow, we must stand united.
All right. If it will help to protect my home, I'll do it. But you needn't have gone through this charade.
Thank you, Clive. Your performance was nothing if not workmanlike.
She saw right through it.
I didn't say it was good, merely that it produced the desired effect. Now, my scouts should be returning shortly. Meet me back at the Briar's Kiss, and we shall see what we face.
I'm not convinced our roles in this ruse were entirely necessary.
I don't know. Conrad seemed quite taken with you.
It appears I have no choice but to do what little I can to defend what little we have. But I would not see any unnecessary blood spilt. We need a plan.
There's truly no chance for us to restock our supplies. That's it then. We shall have to do this the hard way.
And with that, we're going to end this one here. Until next time.